Hello gamers, my name's Nick Berry and this is my first YouTube video and I hope you enjoy it. This is a video response to segaofmyhouse, who did a video on his top 5 most valuable video games, and I have chosen my top 5 based on my collection. I have been collecting video games since about 1997. I have approximately about just under 4,000 video games of most systems, in fact, and I think I have many valuable games, most of which are probably, I don't know, of the £5 to £20 range, and so they're not that valuable. They're quite common, but I do have many titles of the £20 to £100 range, and many collector's editions as well. Some of those are quite rare indeed, a bit like the God of War 3, sort of the Ultimate Edition that came with the God of War prequels and PS3, but also like the chest. And I will at some point show that, as well as my other collectible video games at some point in the future. I've also done a video on my game room, which is like a brief introduction to my game room. And I don't show too much in that. I plan to do a proper video game room tour next summer. It's a bit difficult at the moment for me to get access to all my video games because of the issues around storage and so forth, and it's kind of explained in my other video, but I will show more at some point in the future. I also hope to start doing monthly videos of my video game pickups, and I hope that hopefully that they'll be of interest to you guys as well. So first of all, let's get a start. And my first game I have is a game which I picked up earlier this year. It's all boxed and complete, and it's a 4th game in the series, and it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4 on the Super Nintendo system. It's quite valuable in a PAL format. This set me back about £100 box to complete, and I'm just very glad to have it. I played it. I do prefer the arcade version, but then again, you would, wouldn't you? It's the arcade version's got much better graphics and so forth, and more powerful machine than the SNES. But saying that, it's still not a bad game overall, and in the background on the telly you might see another video game playing, which is another Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles rarity, which you might recognise, but that's nowhere near as valuable as this game, although that other game is also quite rare. So that's my number 5. I'm counting down in order. Number 4 is another game which I've actually picked up earlier this year, and it's a game I've been put off getting into, mainly because it's just a large series of games, and a lot of those titles are actually quite expensive, and so I'm thinking, should I get into it or not, But having watched a lot of the Angry Video Gamer, I can't remember, no, AVGN, James Rolfe, the Angry Video Game Nerd. A lot of his videos, he does a lot of, he's done a number of videos on this series of games, and I've decided to bite a bullet and start getting into them more so. I've been focusing on the more modern generations versions of the games. I've been getting the PS3 games, and also started to adopt my main PS1 games, and the rarest of which is this game. It's set me back a fair amount of money actually. Again, it was about £110 it was. And it's well worth it because it's such a rare title. It's all boxed to complete with both. I can't remember if it's 2 or 3 discs, but it's got all the discs and the manual. And this is Castlevania Symphony of the Night. So that's number 4. Number 3 on the list is is on a system which I picked up earlier this year. Actually, it's the Mega CD. I've had the Mega CD, the Mega Drive 2 for quite a while now, and I've collected a large number of games, and I've been wanting to get some of the Mega CD games, and I've bought the system this year. I did notice on the system I did have problems playing some of the games back, and having done some research, it was actually the laser, and so I've adjusted the taps to get it working again. The taps are like screws on the laser, and so after a few hours messing around with that, it wasn't exactly easy, but I did. I managed to get it working perfectly. I've also picked up a cheap replacement CD lens should I ever pack up in the future. I've got one off eBay. It's I think it's like a relatively common Sony CD lens you can get. That does the job. But this game it's quite a rare and expensive game to get in the UK PAL region. If you were to get the PC Engine version of it from Japan, it's very cheap, and whereas this version, to get it in English and PAL, it's very, very expensive. And this is Snatch on a Mega CD, and that sent me back about £160. So again, not a cheap game. It's well worth getting though. It's done by the guy who gave us Metal Gear Solid. It's basically it's very similar to Blade Runner and detective sci-fi type story, and it's lovely to have this, and I look forward to playing it at some point. Being the father of a 6-year-old and being happily married and so forth, the time to find to play games is quite difficult, and so I do have quite a lot of outstanding games I've got to get through, but this will be certainly one of the games I hope to play in the near future. Okay, moving to number 3 in the list is a game which again I probably only picked up about 5 weeks ago. It's a game which I never heard of before actually. I was watching a video on a channel by I can't remember if he's American or Canadian, one or two, a chap called Adnan Koralik, I think his name is, and his channel is also maybe called something like Figure Out Productions, and he's got quite a large number of subscribers. I think he's got about 40,000 subscribers. Well, anyhow, he was doing a video of his trip to the UK when he was trying to pick up some of his Sega Saturn games that were UK PAL exclusives, and one of the games he picked up was the one I've got in my hands. It's quite a rare game. I think it was released towards the end of the system's life, and basically it's a bit of a horror game, a bit similar to Resident Evil, but set underwater in some sort of underwater station or something it is. Having watched his video, I watched some other gameplay videos on YouTube, and I thought, oh bloody hell, it looks quite a good game really, so I think I'll pick that up, and I wonder how much it is. So I checked on eBay, and some of the prices are very, very expensive. They've varied from £120 to £200 for this game, box to complete, so not a cheap game to find. Well, anyway, I sort of thought, oh bloody hell, I don't think I'll be a while before I can pick that up, so I put it on my want list, and later that same day I went down into my local town centre with my wife and child, and was going through about some of the shops. I went into this PC repair shop, and they had some old retro games in there. They had some PS1 games and Xbox One games and all that sort of thing. Well, not Xbox One, I mean original Xbox games. And they also had a pile of Saturn games. So I thought, well, I'll have a look for those. You never know what I may find. And funny, as I was walking down the pile, I don't know, I had some sort of gut feeling, I suppose. It wasn't indigestion, it was some sort of instinct or something, that maybe something special was I was going to find there. And lo and behold, the very last game I picked up was that rare game I've been referring to, and opened it up, boxed and complete, and I thought, bloody hell, it's amazing. So I also there was a few PS1 games I was interested in as well, so I put those together with this Sega Saturn game and asked the guy at the counter how much he wanted for them. And he's a relatively young guy, but he was in charge of video games. And he said, well, I don't know yet, I haven't priced it up, let me have a look on a computer and I'll give you a price. So he went off to look on a computer, and I was thinking at this point, oh bloody hell, I was going to realise that this Saturn games are worth a small fortune. And he went and priced them up and came back to me and says, well, PS1 games I'll do for £2 each, and to be fair, that's not too bad for shop prices for complete PS1 games. I know you can get them cheaper in a lot of places, 20p, 50p, pound here and there, but £2 I was willing to pay that for those two games. and he said on the Saturn game, oh, £4, and I couldn't believe it. I said, okay, fine, here's my money, you know, gave me £8, and walked out of the shop quite quickly. And my wife and my child who was with me was sort of looking at me saying, oh, not more bloody games, you know, what are you doing buying more games and that sort of thing. And I said to my wife, you know, realise that, you know, this game I picked up, it goes for mega money on eBay, it goes for, you know, goes for nearly £200, and she said, oh, that's all right then. So I guess she was kind of thinking, well, when I peg it, you know, she's going to have a nice lot of games to sell and have a nice wealthy inheritance. It's fine, isn't it? Charming. But I'm hoping actually all my games will go to my daughter. I mean, she's actually likes to play a lot of video games and so forth, so I'd rather, you know, she had them all, to be honest, as opposed to my wife end up flogging them to somebody for next to nothing compared to what they actually were. But anyway, I sort of digress a little bit, and this game is a game called Deep Fear. Like I said, it's a UK exclusive, UK Power exclusive, and it's boxed to complete in very good condition. And yeah, if you ever get a chance to pick this up, I highly recommend it. Again, I haven't had a chance to play it, but like I said, from what I've watched on the videos and so forth, yeah, it does look like Resident Evil 1. So if you enjoyed Resident Evil 1, I think you'll enjoy this, and that's it, it's a very rare collectible game. Okay, moving to, how many games was that? That's 4, so this is my number 1 game, I suppose. And this game, again, I have to cheat a little bit, it's not a different system, it's actually the same system as that last one. It is a Saturn game. It's one of the most popular rare titles, which lots of you have probably already heard of and know about, and it's a game I picked up in the summer. It's I did look carefully to try to get the cheapest copy I could that was boxed to complete and in good condition, which it is, but it still set me back about £160, so it's not the cheapest of all games, but it's well worth having. You know, the gameplay is good, the storyline is good, it's not a lot to criticise really, apart from it being quite rare because it was released towards the end of the system's life in limited numbers, and because it's quite a good game, it's highly sought after, especially in the UK PAL format, although saying that it's probably valuable in the American formats as well. I think it is as well, but maybe not as expensive as it is over here. And this is the Panzer Dragoon Saga. Like I said, it's all boxed to complete. There's a slight marking to outer boxing there, but apart from that, everything's all there. It's all in good condition, and the discs are great, and it's got a manual. So great, lovely to have more for my collection. So that should be all my systems, all my games rather. I've actually sort of kind of cheated, and there is some other valuable standalone games which I'd like to show you today, and these are a trilogy of games, 2 of which you probably can pick up relatively cheaply compared to one of them. I picked 2 of the games up for about £50 each, which you may think, well, that's a lot of money. Well, compared to what you pay for in terms of new games like PS4 games and so forth, it's not too bad. These games are part of a very popular series, Zelda, Legend of Zelda games, and so you may already have a good clue what these games are. These games were produced on the system, the Philips CDI. Yeah, I don't actually own one, and to pick one up that's working can be quite pricey and expensive, so I don't think I'll bother, because these actual games, even though they're quite rare and expensive, they are absolutely rubbish from what I can tell. I watched the videos by Angry Video Game Nerd, you know, James Rolfe, and he's done a lot of videos on these particular games, and they look absolutely shit, so why bother? I have them because I'm a big Zelda fan. I've got all the commercially released games in the PAL format in the UK and so forth, and these CDI games, I'm not too sure if they were commercially released in the UK or not. I think I've actually bought these from the States. I imported them. one of them actually does have a UK price sticker on it, so I don't know. I think the Philips CDI is multi-regional, so I don't know if it was ever released in the UK or not. But I imported them from the States, and then for 2 of the games, like I said, I paid about £50 for. And these games are Link: The Faces of Evil, box to complete, and Zelda: The Wand of Gamelon, again, box to complete. It's nice to have these games in cases that aren't cracked. The proper CDI cases and so forth in very good condition. The CDs themselves are, you know, extremely clean. I don't think they've hardly ever been played, and considering how rubbish the games are, no surprise there. And the final game of the trilogy, which I also have, is the most rarest and expensive. It's still rubbish like the other two, but this one goes for a small fortune when you do see it actually on eBay. It's not that many copies on eBay, and sometimes they go for silly money. Some people ask for about £300 for these games, and I picked one up about 5 years ago for about £200, which is a lot of money for a single game. But I realised, it being Zelda, it's not going to go down in value. I think, well, if I want to have a complete collection of Zelda games, I may have to pay for those and get this, and that's what I did. And if you consider it's already gone up to about £300 now, it's worthwhile perking up now, really. It's only been 5 years and it's gone up by a third, so what would it be like in another 5 years? Who knows? But this game, you've probably guessed it already, it is Zelda's Adventure. Excellent, clean condition, boxed and complete. And that concludes my rare, valuable, standalone video games. And like I said before, I do have a large collection of collector's editions. I have many games in the £20 to £100 price range. I might add that most of my collection is in the lower price range, like most people's games. You know, you've got loads of PS2 games and lots of the more common PS1 games. They're not worth a lot. But I do also have many other rare, valuable games that are less common, such as NES box to complete games and SNES box to complete games and N64 games and so forth, and I like to at some point show some of those off to you guys as well. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you subscribe, and I hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed what you saw. So hope to see you again, and if you liked it, please leave some positive comments or something in the little box below. Okay, thank you. Bye.